reason
was
why
the CEO of Alameda or head of risk
she was the
management.
CEO of Alameda.
CEO of Alameda,
Yes.
right? So that was the trading, the
venture capital arm.
Yeah, the venture capital arm that they ran kind of on the side with all the capital from FTX whenever they wanted. Basically.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
the thing about Caroline, I really want to say here, though, is that there's a reason why the timing of that photo was very important. That was at the very end of that week where Sam had been doing interviews that entire week long, right? Sam was trying to do two things in these interviews. Well, three things, really. He was trying to look like he was dumb and didn't know anything. Nobody buys that. Number two, he was trying to reposition what he did as not a crime, but a mismanagement of funds, because there's a difference. A mismanagement of funds and in fraud are two totally different things. Number three, he was trying to blame everything on Caroline. If you listen to everything he said, it was, oh, Alameda did that. I have to check. Alameda did that. Alameda did that. When he was saying Alameda, you can basically substitute that with, to say Caroline. Every time he says Caroline or Alameda, he was saying Caroline. So her reaction to that was to flip and to basically realize she needed to get an attorney. And the attorney she got is very famous for plea deals. And she's going to get a really good plea deal. It's not really advantageous for us to go into all the wrongdoing that Caroline did. Because why? She's going to get off scot-free, most likely, maybe a small sentence. It's really to focus on the people that she flipped on. And obviously SBF is the top of that list. The question will be, will she also be flipping on Dan Friedberg? And will she also be flipping on the parents?
Okay. Now the parents, these are, his dad's a Stanford professor. His mom maybe is too.
They're both Stanford
professors. Again, big involved in the charities, and now nobody wants to even be seen with them at the universities.
Charities. Yeah. Big involvement in charities. That's not actually true. But
you want to just take 2 minutes and lay down the parents for me. What's the steal? Yeah. What's the story? What's Bitboy's version of how the parents are involved in this whole thing?
We call the parents the puppet masters. That's what we call them. They were directing the show the entire time. Dan Friedberg, we call the architect. He is the guy that was the general counsel from FTX. Who was from Ultimate Bets previously. He's the one that built the whole scam, right? Well, when you look at Joe Bankman, first of all, people may not know this, Joe Bankman actually helped Elizabeth Warren directly with tax regulation in 2016. So we have a direct connection between Elizabeth Warren and Sam Bankman-Fried. Elizabeth Warren's daughter interned for Gary Gensler. Of course, Gary Gensler met with SBF. Also, Gary Gensler's direct boss at MIT was Caroline Ellison's dad. So you start to see the twisty, tumbly overlap of all the sloppiness in these families. And this is a very sloppy organization, by the way. People are going to be shocked. Like when it comes out, all the evidence we have of the video and audio recordings of people admitting wrongdoing at FTX, it's unbelievable how sloppy they all were. The parents, the mom had a PAC, a Democratic Party PAC to support Democrats. Her other son, Sam's older brother, Gabe, also has a very similar PAC that supports Democratic candidates. This was all about, from the beginning, figuring out a way to make money to support the Democratic Party to be able to drive regulation the way that they wanted it to continue that scam over and over again. Just pumping money into FTX, pumping it into Democratic candidates, and rinsing and repeating over and over again. I say rinse and repeat. There's a lot of money laundering going on as well there. But the parents from the very beginning have been directing this show. It's my opinion that they have basically kept Sam doped up on Adderall, brainwashed politically from the very beginning, since he was a kid. Now, I'm not saying they were setting this up since he was a kid, but this was the perfect thing for them to usher in once they had him brainwashed and doped up. And when you look at Joe Bankman, okay, Joe Bankman was in charge of all their philanthropic efforts. Well, I actually met with a lady in Florida who had a charity that had several meetings with Joe Bankman about supporting through FTX. It was a very, I don't want to say it because I don't want to dox who she is, but it was a very noble charity that most people in America would want to support. It wasn't anything political, wasn't anything, it's something that everybody loves, think pets, dogs, children, right? Like everybody likes to support children, everybody likes to support pets, something in that area. And she had 10 meetings with him or whatever it was, a lot of meetings, and it didn't get approved. Go look at all of the philanthropic things that they did. It was only supporting the pandemic or preventing another pandemic, which once again, go to Caroline's dad and find out he was integral in writing a report on how to prepare for pandemics. And then also number two, political candidates. That was it. This was not philanthropy.
Right.
This is what, Sam talks about all the time. Like, oh, it's philanthropy. I don't care about my money, which Andrew Tate says, like, I don't trust anybody that's a billionaire that says they don't care about money. That's stupid. I agree 100%. But if you look at their efforts, you know who they gave money to? The Bahamian police station. They gave them iPads so they could conduct their business better, and they could buy them off so they wouldn't come arrest him. If you look at everything they did, it was all targeted and it was all pointed at how they individually could benefit. And so that was the scam of the parents. They set the whole thing up, and Sam went along with it. Now, Sam knew about the wrongdoing. He's definitely a criminal. Don't get me wrong here. But the parents are really the puppet masters behind the entire thing.
Hey, do you want to profit from crypto? Then join my DeFi Academy. The Crypto DeFi Academy will help you create generational wealth. But don't take my word for it. Listen to my students.
When I first got into crypto, I remember thinking to myself, I need to learn more. Brian Rose, learning crypto, learning DeFi, gotta do it.
I am so grateful that I jumped in and did this. I had to break through some limiting beliefs that I can do this, that I can afford this, that I can be in this.
It challenges the things that are deeply rooted within us.
Joining DeFi Academy has been one of the best decisions I have made on my blockchain journey.
This course was a life changer, a game changer, a huge eye-opener, coming from knowing practically nothing at the speed of the learning over 4 weeks was just fantastic.
The information you provided in this class was invaluable.
I feel far more confident in my next steps.
You took complex concepts and made them easier to understand.
What's different than so many other ones is it just doesn't tell you what to do. It actually makes you do it.
This is for people who are serious about becoming traders. This is the way it should be done.
I realized from this learning experience again that it is not about what you learn, but about who you learn it from.
The energy was insane. I've never experienced such incredible energy on a live call. Brian Rose, you are a legend, my friend.
It's the only thing in the market where you can get all information and learn everything what you need to know.
Everything is so clear and so well done, and I'm just forever grateful for this program.
It made me feel so much more confident about crypto than I did before.
I did not anticipate how passionate I was going to become about it.
This course has been like a big learning experience for me, not just in the crypto space, but just in overall balance of life.
What I've learned is, how to take ownership, of my life in a way that I really hadn't before.
Yeah, you can't put a price on that, really.
I would recommend it to anybody, top notch.
Excellence does not come cheap. So if you want excellence, you gotta pay for it, but it's so worth it.
Pull the trigger. That's what this course is about.
You're not going to regret it, really. It's amazing.
Thank you, Brian and team.
So what are you waiting for? Crypto is happening now. Click the link below, submit your application, and let me mentor you on how to create generational wealth and build the decentralized financial infrastructure of the future.